Writing listings by hand takes forever, which is why in this video, I'll show you how you can fully automate your copywriting process using AI agents so you can write optimized and compliant listings in just minutes. By the end of this video, you'll have the exact AI workflow where you'll fill out a simple template and have the AI agents handle the rest. Plus, I'm giving away the complete ready-to-use template so you can skip the guesswork and start seeing results today. And don't worry, no coding or tech background is needed. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below and I'll help you out. So here's what we'll do together. First, I will show you a live demo of the AI system in action. Next, I will share with you a resource that will walk you through quickly setting up my exact template. Then I will guide you through the 8 steps to fully automate the writing of your listings from start to finish. Let's hop into it. So for the live demonstration, we'll be doing it for this product. And I have some additional resources for you here, as I'll give you the exact template that you can use to fill out for your own products. And I'll also be giving you the example that I'm using right now. And so I actually have this in a different window here, and I can just copy and paste it, and then we can go into the edit and workflow. And so really what we're doing here, right, is we're needing to start the workflow by this first module. It reads from left to right, and we'll click the open chat button, and we'll now be chatting with this overall workflow or with our agents. And so I'll paste in the prompt here, and then, or not really the prompt, right, the input or the template, and then we can see here that it's actually starting to load. And so we'll go ahead and cut to when this finishes, and I'll show you what it comes out to. It's been a minute now and we got our response from the AI workflow. And so what I do is I typically copy and paste this to ChatGPT, and I just say, hey, can you put this in the correct formatting for Google Docs, just because it's kind of formulated in code and we need it to be in a way that we can just copy and paste it. And we'll just give us the before and after for each of the main fields here. And then it will also give us the commentary at the bottom. And we'll actually dive into this more for how you can customize it. But first we'll go into how you can actually set this whole system up for yourself. So let's get into it. So here's how you'll set up the N8 end workflow. I'll go up here to create a new workflow. Then I will upload the file, and it will be a JSON file, JSON, and then I will open it up. And there it is, all of my hard work easily available to you guys. But how I got this file is through the master resources document that I share with you guys when you use the link below. And this is the specific video that we're going over. And I actually share with you guys a specific Gamma document that has a video that I recorded for you guys on how to set up your account, how to set up everything else. And you really shouldn't have any questions after you watch that. And then I also have the file that you'll then download here and then upload as I just showed you. And then I also have this Google Doc template that you were seeing me use earlier. So yeah, I mean, this is pretty much it. And now it's time to actually dive into each of these steps and really learn how we can customize this for yourself. So let's get into it. Congratulations on making it this far. I'm really excited to share with you guys how the magic is made, so to speak, and also how these different tools interact with each other. So let's hop into it. So step 1 is to submit the info. And so it is going to be a chat trigger. So it's a trigger because it has that little lightning bolt by it. And it's just what starts the entire, or it's what triggers the rest of the events to occur. And so as we can see here, it's a chat trigger. So you just open up the chat, then you type into it, and it works just like ChatGPT, but it has a lot of extra stuff behind the scenes. And how you would add it is you'd go up to this plus panel, and then you would add another trigger, and then you would do a chat message. Now I can't do it on this. If I were to delete it, then I could. So if I were to delete this, then I were to do run on chat message, then it would create it for me. And then all I would simply do is just run this arrow right there, and there we go. And now for step 2, where we're going to learn how to segment the chat. And so whenever we see this little ChatGPT logo here, that is really referring to it being the brain behind this overall node. Whenever you see a square, it's typically a node. And a node is just like a block or like a specific code block of formulas that will have inputs and it will have outputs. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this input, we're going to feed it into ChatGPT, right? And then we'll say, hey, we have a schema, right? Or like a definition of values here that we then need your help to actually find like what these values are. And so what ChatGPT is going to do is it's going to read here on the left, and it's going to output specific fields on the right. So we don't have to manually put in, hey, here's the list of bullets. Hey, here's the list of titles, and like have it, you know, kind of fill for each one. ChatGPT will fill it in for us and figure out where it is in the text and actually find that specific text here and then return it to us. And so now that we have this, I can actually show you how you would create this. So you would just go to the plus sign here, and then you could even just search up info segmenter or information extractor. And then it's, yeah, as simple as that. And now you have this node here, and that's how you set it up. And then you would then link it to the next one that we'll dive into right now. Awesome. So now we're on step 3, and we're actually going to be working on the first AI agent. And so the goal here, right, is just to come out with optimized copywriting. And so we're separating it out into different tasks for different AI agents, because it can get very confusing with different requirements or different optimizations for each of them. So we have a specific agent for a specific field. And as you can see here, the agent is powered by ChatGPT, and we can just dive into here like what the prompt is. So the inputs on the side, right, is just showing us what we have available to input within this prompt. And then we've actually defined the prompt below. And if we click into it, we can see some green text and some white text. The white text means like that it's going to stay there no matter what. It's static. And the green stuff over here means like there's an expression. So this is basically saying, hey, whatever was the input, right, from the previous node, the info extractor node title input is actually going to be this text here. And that's why on the right here, the actual result, you'll see this is what it actually shows. So on the right here, you're seeing like what ChatGPT would see. And on the left here, you're kind of seeing like the backend expression of the code, so to speak. And then you're also seeing here just the overall system message of us just kind of communicating, hey, like this is what you're doing. And the parser is just a simple way of just saying, hey, I need you to respond in this format, just so I can have an easy way of using your outputs. And the other thing I did not talk about yet is the tools. And so the tools are one of the 4 different things that you can have with agents. So why are agents so unique? Because they have the ability to like recall specific memory. We aren't using that here. And then they have a chat model, right, which is what we're using ChatGPT. And they also have tools. And so tools allow the agent to go through specific thinking, right? So as we can see here, there's this number 3. So it went through 3 stages of thinking, or 3 stages of using tools to actually improve its output. And what were those tools? Well, let's go ahead and show you what they are. So as we can see here, we have a word counter and a character counter. So the word counter is very important, right, for the titles, because you can't include more than 2 of a specific phrase in your title on Amazon. And so that is why we've given it this tool, and we haven't given that tool to some of the others. So you can only see it's only being used by 2 agents. Whereas the character counter is very useful for all of the agents, so it's given to all of them. And so long story short is we're using these tools, which is like a small little code snippet that I use ChatGPT to generate, and you can see these responses. And so I can go to the first response, right, which would be, or the first output, which would be, hey, this was the title agent asking, hey, like, what is the word count for the title that I currently have? And then we are showing it back this output. And then it's basically ChatGPT's reading this output and saying like, okay, well, there's no issues here. So I'm good to go, move forward with the next thing. And it's because, these AI agents can't really do math easily. And so it's really an extra tool for them to succeed. And so now we can go into step 4. And this agent only has the character counter tool, but the character counter tool is just a simple response of how many characters are in this query. And we'll dive into that a bit more. So I'll see you in step 4. Now it's time for the bullets agent, which is very similar to the title agent, just with a different prompt and with some different inputs. So as we're diving in here, I click into the prompt, and then you can see it's a little bit longer than the title one, just because there's a little bit of extra stipulations that we have to follow. But nonetheless, we can see here on the left side, right, is the expression side, where you're kind of seeing the code and how like different variables get added in here. And on the right side, you're seeing the actual results of what ChatGPT would be reading and using to actually guide its results and prompts. And I actually put in a max iterations amount, because I'm basically telling it, hey, like the maximum amount of times you can use your tools is 20 times. Like anything more than that is kind of ridiculous. You don't need to use that. And so, and the parser is the same thing as last time. We're just forcing it output to follow a specific format. And yeah, let's go ahead and dive into the character counter tool. And so what we can see here is we can like go to a specific output. I would guess like 2, I guess 3. Yeah, so 3. So this is bullet point number 1. And so basically what it did is it tested this and said, hey, what's the character count? Oh, it's 122. That's within our range or goal range. And then it went on to the next bullet and then the next bullet. And basically it's just making sure that it's not too low or it's not too high. And it's giving the AI agent an ability to do math, which it just can't do. And so it's really just setting it up for success. And we can now go into step 5 to see the description agent. And now we're hopping into the description agent, which is very similar to the other agents, but it also just has a different unique prompt. So we can dive in here to see how we're optimizing for this specific aspect. And as you can see, we're doing dynamic adding of values here and the important keywords and etc. And now we can also see that it also has the ability to count characters just to make sure it's within the 2000-ish character count. And we can now move to step 6. And step 6 is the backend SEO agent. And this is the other agent that's really needing the word counter tool, right? Because the backend SEO or generic keywords, you don't want to duplicate a specific word. And so as we can see here in the specific tool, this is likely from the, this is the specifically the backend search terms agent, because none of these words are the same and it doesn't read like a title. And so we can see that it's actually, you only use the tool once, and we can actually go into the prompt here as well and just see how we're guiding it, right? You can't use, other people's brands. How do we format it, right? Like what are the keywords? And then we're actually giving it all the other, like here's the description, here is the title, because we're using all of these key phrases, right, to actually fuel our backend search terms or our backend SEO. And so as you can see, this is the actual output here. And we are now ready to move to step 7, which is the copy auditor. And then this has an input, which is simply, hey, you're like reviewing all this copy, and I basically want you to give me a result of, is there any issues with this? Like, could I get flagged by Amazon? And like, was this an improvement? And, I responded to be a little bit cheerful just to cheer me up for building this whole workflow, but feel free to customize it however you'd like. And then the last thing here is just the edit field option. So I'm basically, formatting the output that you get from the chat in a specific way where it will give you the title before, the title after, the bullets before, the bullets after, the description before, the description after, and so on and so forth, and also the auditor's response. And there you go. We've finished the whole end-to-end workflow, and I'm just so excited to see you guys' reaction to it. If you want access to it, link is in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.